Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah, and I'm going to be reading the cards for the week for the signs. This week in astrology, we have lots of different things happening. Particularly, we have a new moon in Virgo. This will conjoin with the South Node. Mars will enter Cancer on Wednesday, which is going to be fun. Mars doesn't do so well in Cancer, so we're going to see lots of moodiness and hostility and hangriness and people overreacting with their emotions, and maybe even people like having arguments with their families and stuff. We can see like abortion rights being talked about during this time, maybe even gun control with students and teachers. Cancer is really fragile and it deals with more energy that is things that you have to step on eggshells with. You have to be very cautious with Cancer. And then the moon is going to be in Libra for the majority of the weekend, which is nice because that means like daytime or having fun with your friends or going out and being a little bit more beautiful or buying things that have lots of value to them, because Venus is also going to be in Libra during this time. And then this Friday we have Mercury square Uranus. So this Friday you might hear some random news, or that might be a random media story that comes out or something that is a little bit kind of shocking to the public, especially in terms of political stuff or agricultural stuff or cryptocurrency stuff, things that have to do with material values that also affect bigger governments, because this is Leo versus Taurus, and Taurus deals with like material items, things that makes us feel very comfortable, and Leo is about like the regents, the kingdom. And then also on Saturday, the Sun in Virgo is going to oppose Saturn in Pisces, so this is a reality check on your ego, on your identity, who you are. You might be feeling like on top of the world, and then something comes around and it's like, oh wait, I actually am not this person that I think that I am, or it can even be the opposite. I am this person that I think I am, and I'm more. And then on Sunday, Mercury enters Virgo finally, so Virgos should be feeling a little bit more calm, or that they have their ducks in a row by the time that this week ends, or if you have a very prominent Mercury placement, or if you're a mutable sign. Or so let's get started with our Geminis. First, we can do a little bit of like evocation to God Mercury to come over here and help us. I know you're a little bit in the underworld right now, but come on and help us. We need you. Big breath in, steady breath out. Let's pull for the Aries. Aries, ooh. So this is the Seven of Wands reversed. This can mean that a schedule isn't going as you planned, which makes sense because there's going to be a Mercury square Uranus in your 5th to 2nd houses. So there can be something that you thought was going to go as planned, but it's not. It just kind of like rattles up your schedule. So this is aggravating energy. This can even be like you going off your diet or you going off your exercise routine. This is definitely not something that we like to see, especially when it comes to work. So you might be putting in more work than what you're getting out. So this looks like a frustrating week for the Aries, especially with all that Virgo stuff happening in your 6th house of health and wellness. That seems appropriate for the Aries. Taurus, ooh, 8 of Pentacles reversed. Again, very much like the Aries, we will be having Mercury square your ascendant from your 4th house. So there can be arguments within the home, or that there can be awkwardness within the home life right now. But this card is usually about just not getting work done. So there might be work that you needed to get done, but maybe something happens where you're not able to get it done. According to the Rider-Waite booklet, reversed is voided ambition, vanity, cupidity, exaction, and usury. So basically just not doing what needs to be done and not having lots of motivation to get it done. So that's a bummer for the Tauruses. Tauruses, this is a new moon in your 5th house as well. So you might be finding new pleasure, and this might be rocking up your home life or what you find safe. You're stepping out of your safety measures, and it might be a little bit complicated for you. Gemini. Ooh, Tower. Oh my gosh, people are going through it. So the Tower, again, the Tower is, for me, honestly, it's a little bit sexual. The Tower is like really phallic imagery. So there comes a time where you have to like penetrate something or just go into something. And that might be very scary. And it might feel like the world is over and everything is ending and nothing makes sense. And that there's this like whirlpool of confusion around you, especially because Gemini is dealing a lot with like their home and their family life because of all of, again, that Virgo happening in their 4th 4th house of home and family. So it could feel like arguments are happening, especially with siblings at the moment, or there could be some sort of falling off with another person that you didn't really expect, especially with that Mercury square Taurus situation, or Mercury and Leo square Uranus and Taurus from the 12th to the 3rd. It can be about like secrets coming out with family and friends, or with people that you thought that you couldn't trust, or maybe something getting exposed online. So Geminis, this does not look like the prime week for you to make any super good announcements, or that there can be just like lots of feeling of being exposed, or feeling like your people are out to get you, especially because of some sort of mental health dilemma that you might not really have been speaking out about. Maybe this is your call to get like a therapist or something. Cancer. Ooh, Ace of Swords. Finding your flow, finding your groove, finding your intelligence, finding your crown, putting on your shield of intelligence, finding an idea, finding a friend, finding someone to share things with, feeling confident in what you know. So this looks like a week where you're going to be executing lots of tasks possibly, and doing it with lots of flow, lots of might. You might be paying off your rent on time. You might be really on top of your bills. You're just kind of doing what needs to be done at that moment, maybe even remaking money that you might have lost during the Mercury retrograde. So this looks like a really positive week for you, where you're able to utilize some sort of known intelligence, or some sort of like known factor that you were able to learn from your past, and able to go about the future with a lot more dedication and devotion to the truth and what's right, because swords have to deal with like mental energies and what we're able to mentally be flexible around. So it seems like you're yielding your sword with a lot more intuition this time, and also doing that with rational thought and logic. So this looks like a really good week for the Cancers. So if you have an important test or an exam, or that like universe might even be testing you in general right now, you're going to execute it with lots of care, and also like a queen or novice as well. There's like lots of beginner's luck with ace cards. So this might be trying out something new, and then you just like it. So you're finding your flow, but it's also kind of like rigid as well, because air and water are a little bit kind of tornado-ish, or that they clash sometimes. So, but they're conducive as well. Air wants to connect things, and so does water. So this looks like a time where you're making really important connections in your mental spheres, and also in your outer talkative world, people who are communicating with. So excellent, Cancers. Leo. Ooh, King of Swords. Nice. So this is exactly what it looks like. It's just being a boss, being someone with ambition, being someone with motivation, being a leader, especially within more mature concepts as well, or conversations. So people might be looking up to you. People might be waiting for you to respond to something, and you're going to do this with lots of warrior capabilities, or like you've done it before, or that people are looking up to you, so you have this right to claim something. So this looks like a really positive time. There's lots of blue motif as well, which does represent some sort of emotion, but there's also control of emotion as well. So you might be the one to control an emotion, or to make a decision about a relationship, or to go forward with a relationship, especially with you being the leader here. So it seems like you're going to lead on to something. I also really like the butterfly motif as well. The symbolism over here is just really intense. This entire card is very beautiful, especially with like hand being rested as well. So which shows that there's lots of there's one part of this week that might require lots of strength and even maybe some violence, but then there's this gentleness and this sort of fragility that's over here as well, showing some kindness, or that you're able to be nice with this person, but also show your strength in a way. So this is a really good leadership energy, where you're really well respected this week, and also changing for the better, or making waves, or making some sort of noise in whatever department that you're a part of, or whatever category of life that you're instilled upon. There's definitely some sort of maturity being advanced over here. So this is really great, and you might even want to wear blue this week, or some sort of light turquoisey sort of color. Maybe step on some grass and look at the clouds. Also maybe even bird imagery might come up, or butterfly imagery as well. These little things over here, I think that they're angels, I'm pretty sure. I know that those are two other butterflies, but this is like an angel, which again shows the more gentleness that this card has. So love that. And notice how he's wearing a finger on his ring, on his Saturn hand. So this would be his his right hand, which is an Aquarius finger. So every finger has a different planetary lord, which is, you can go into palmistry and oncomancy and things like that. But the middle finger for the right hand, this one right here, is Saturn ruled. So you might want to put on your Saturn things. And also Saturn Aquarius ripped through the Leo placements. So you guys are well-established people for a reason, especially if you are dedicated to some sort of subject. So Virgo, new moon in Virgo, new you. Pluto back in Capricorn in the 5th house of childhood. Virgo. Ooh, a Page of Wands reversed. It usually means indecision. So there might be a lack of honesty that you have with yourself and others, and there can be like lack of motivation or even just like lack of willpower in general. There is a new moon in Virgo, and new moons tend to bring people's energies really low, so this can be like lack of ambition or a lack of getting forward or getting started. Even though there seems to be some sort of like fiery mentality going on here, you can also come across a boy who thinks that they know everything, or someone that thinks that they know everything, and this can stumble some sort of like philosophical dilemma within you as well. Mercury is still in your 12th house, so there's lots of confusion that hasn't come up to the surface to be deconstructed and understood. Virgo's main task in this life is to label things and to measure things and to make things make sense, and that's not really possible right now because Mercury is still in that shadow period. Even though you are getting this emotional revival, this does seem very fitting because there's this sort of inability to take action because you don't really know which way to go or how to go about it, but at least you're starting something. And even though it's a wobbly sort of start, there is some sort of gratitude that's going to be going on here. And notice how there's no black or darker colors. He's wearing a happier colored shirt. Yes, it's reversed, but Virgo's life has been a little bit reversed for this entire summer with the Mercury retrograde. But again, Virgos, you should be well aware of how to handle that energy. When you're on, you're on. When you're off, you're off. So you can be wearing yellow this week. You can be having feather imagery come up to you. There is something going on here with just the lack of motivation in general, which again, this might be your week to relax and rest and to plan ahead because it seems like there's a new sort of energy coming in for you as well. But yeah, so make sure to drink more water, some sort of hydration thing going on because of that as your imagery as well. Libra. Ooh, Libra. You might have missed something out, or that you might have messed up on something. The 5 of Cups is a very emotional card. It's extremely depressive. So this week you might be bowing down your head or clicking your wounds or being a little bit kind of pouty in a way. But there is some sort of happiness. There is stuff to be shared, or there is emotion that is actually viable or that's worth it, or that you are in the right about something, but you might have knocked down the wrong people, or that there might have been mistakes that have been made that are irreversible, and that you're understanding this now. So it looks like lots of issues going on with the emotional life, and also more depressive episode. You might be really hermiting this week with lots of emotions. But 5 is usually about travel and to go somewhere. So you might be preparing to go somewhere, or that you might be preparing to move forward on with any emotion. And this might be your way of grieving this week, or to just being a little bit more inward sort of feeling, sort of vibration. You also might be wearing like bun this week with like black coat or something like that. So it's really introspective week and also a little bit sad, but also there is some sort of happiness going on. Like cups aren't all emptied. You still have cups that are again viable, which is emotion that makes sense, or things that you've done in the past that are helpful for the future. So it's also very like spooky season of Libra to get that card. And Libras love a good Tim Burton film. We can see this in Jenna Ortega. She's a Libra. So this could just be your emo week. Goth Libra. Scorpio. Ooh, wow, Scorpio. Amazing. This is definitely about Pluto. Pluto going back into your 3rd house can mean that you are reanalyzing, because Pluto likes to zoom in on things. Pluto really likes to examine something back and forth and up and down and naked and wash down and scrub down. Pluto loves to deconstruct things and make them and reconstruct them again. So this could be about friendships happening, or like possibly a friendship that you have with a lover or a best friend coming back, or maybe even a sibling bond kind of being a little bit happier. So it seems like there is more of an introspection that you're going on with your communication style, because Pluto back into your 3rd house can be extremely introspective and very much about like, the repercussions of maintaining a bond with other people. So there's a zooming in on the bonds, because this is a retrogress into a relationship house. So there is some sort of like relationship going on that you might have missed out on or that you need to rekindle. But it seems like a really happy time for you, especially with Venus and Libra, which is in your 12th house. So there could be lots of secret love affairs happening right now, or that you might be a little bit kind of secretive with someone that you love, or that there might be lots of under the covers happening. And just going through the 12th house is extremely sexual energy. 12th house is usually about like grief and sorrow and loss and maintaining sobriety even though you don't want to. So there's this sort of cagedness that happens. But when Venus goes to the 12th house, it's kind of settling or kind of cushioning of these things, or even like happiness of your sobriety, or a happiness loving your bonds, loving that limitation. So you can be, again, really caged up in a relationship with someone, but you actually really like it, and that person might even swoop in and help you out or something like that too. So I like this card for Scorpio. Obviously, it's the Lovers. You can't get any better than this. You can be finding someone this week as well, especially if you do have like a Venus and Libra placement or something like that. Venus and Libra is such an excellent time to find someone that you love, especially with Venus going through the South Node area, which can be about you finding someone from a past or you rekindling a romantic relationship. So I love this for the Scorpios, especially someone that you met online or someone on the street or someone that you met when you were running your errands, because that's all like third housey stuff going through your neighborhood, and then you like finding that person again or something like that, or someone that you might have even worked with in the past or made money with or something. So Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Ooh, Sagittarius got the Sagittarius card. I like that for Sages because you're balanced, you're even, you're drinking, you're happy, you're drinking your water, you're staying hydrated, you're having fun, but you're also realizing that you're an enlightened being. So this is definitely a week where you are the calm one in the situation, or you are the one that's offering some sort of experiential advice. So people are going to be looking up to you this week, or that there is going to be some sort of monumental shift within your own mental state where you realize that you're actually a well-balanced, well-tempered individual. My lights just went out. Hello, Mercury, I guess. So Sagittarius, this is your week, especially with Libra transiting through your 11th house. This can be a week where you're finding friends, or you're offering a feminine approach to your friendships, a more, not feminine, I hate to use that word, but a more anima approach where you're a little bit more receptive and you're listening inwards, whereas you're projecting outwards. So there's this more lighter sort of thing going on with your heart and your spirit, especially because you are dipping into your emotional world, but you're still based in calmness of that grounding nature. So there is lots of chaos that you're delving into and that you're tapping into, but you have this sort of like lifeline that you could even be about, like lifeline that you've planted through yourself. I just had a Mercury retrograde go through your 9th house of higher knowledge and education. So there's more knowledge and experiential knowledge that you have to share with the public. This can even be about you like big on social media. You might go a little bit viral, or that you might get paid off for something that you have been doing in the past. So really excellent card for the Sagittarius, especially because you're spreading your knowledge, you're being a little bit more open, you're making more friends. There's just generally a happiness being inserted into your life, especially when it comes to your support system, your followers, and the access that you have when it comes to making alliances and friends. So yeah, I love this for the Sagittarius. Again, she's wearing fire. You are fire. You're passionate. You gain attention. You're bringing up the vibes. You're elevating the situations around you. So you're Sagittarius this week doing Sagittarius things. That's all. Sagittarius are going to be Sagittarius this week. Capricorn, Pluto is back in your domain, which can mean death, old structures ending, the shadow coming about, you having to relearn parts of yourself. My hand just did like a really weird thing where it was like someone was guiding it on its own. That was strange. I felt that before, but not like that. Capricorn. Ooh, Knight of Cups reversed. Again, this could be about honestly health going wrong, or something about your health declining. This could be about your lymphatic system not doing so well, or that you might get a little bit sick this week, either emotionally, spiritually, physically. It might be some infection that you have, both of the spirit, of the mind, of the body, that needs to be let go of. So you might need to do some water pulling, or that you might need to increase your salt intake, or that there might be something going on with like misbalanced situation. In the Rider-Waite's booklet, the Knight of Cups reversed means trickery, artifice, subtlety, swindling, duplicity, and fraud. Pluto is Satan in certain capacities. No, Pluto isn't Satan. Pluto is Hades. Hades is a very altruistic person. Please don't smite me, Hades. If we look back into Ovid's Metamorphosis and Homer's Odyssey, they talk about Hades as a very kind person. They always say very good things about Hades, and historians think that it's because they might have been scared of Hades. There was this fear that was imposed upon them, and also to deal with a bunch of dead souls in Tartarus that have been malicious humans and evil spirits and things like that. And here's Hades just having to be with them and be in their energy. So it's about like transmuting things as well, because Hades is really good at transmuting negative energy. So Capricorn, this can be a time, a week where you have to do that extra, or that there is lots of heavy energy that you're being dealt with again, and you might be having to let it go. Again, the water is pouring out because this is reversed. And also intelligence is like not as at the bottom of the card, whereas like the hooves, the more primitive, the groundingness is here. So you need to find something to feel stable and reliable upon, and this might need to be about finding your flow again and letting go of emotions and even rational thought in order to be still in who you are and to find out who you are. And this is a beautiful creature as well being placed into this card, so you might need to reconnect with nature again and who you truly are. And this might be one last ditch effort to understand your psyche before it can get a little bit more muddled with your self-esteem issues, because Pluto going into Aquarius can really go to extremes with self-confidence issues. So again, this is like a reprival of this is who you are, this is what you're doing, and you're being a little bit more instinctual with that as well. There is no second option. This is who you are. It's either black or it's white, and you're going to be black because you enjoy that color, or white. I don't know who you are, but there is this more of an instinctualness or an exactness with who you are that's being involved with you this week. So, and this is also again letting go of emotions, letting go of logic, letting go of trying to make sense of the things that can't be made sense of. The highest truths cannot be translated. This is why Mercury is fallen in Pisces. There's too much to be said about the universe that we can't ever put into sentences. So you're dealing with very, very heavy energy this week. And again, you might be someone who is very nice bodied, or this is definitely you're able to ride a horse. You have this sort, and then you might fall off the horse as well. So that's another motive of Knight of Cups, especially with like letting go of emotions and wanting someone to come save you, but it's you are the savior. It's kind of like Harry Potter in a way, where it's like, oh, I was the one that did the thing, Harry Potter goes back in time. I don't know if you guys read the books or the movies or whatever, but yeah, it's like you have to be your own savior this week. Aquarius should be feeling a little bit relieved that you have Pluto in your 12th house for the final time of your life. Aquarius. Ooh. So again, talking or like bad behind your back or something. There can be some sort of issue of the psyche that you need to revisit. Again, we're getting into heavy territory because this is more Pluto stuff going on, and Pluto is a very heavy, heavy sign. It's a sign that deals with, or it's a planet that deals with every dark emotion, abuse, torment, power, manipulation. And this is, again, going back into your subconscious or your psyche. The 12th house is excruciatingly important because it literally puts weight on the first house. The first house is self, identity, image, character, who you are, your health, who you are at your best in some capacity. Even though some might argue that the 10th house, because that's the house that everyone sees. But you can't hide from yourself. No matter where you go, there you are, sort of energy. And Pluto goes back into your 12th house could be about you having to really reconcile with the nasty parts of yourself that you thought that you can let go of. It's like still here. It still needs to be reworked. Pluto does bring immense power because it likes to speculate on something and it likes to zoom in on it. So it can really like enhance seduction, or it can enhance your eyes or something like that. So Pluto brings lots and lots of power. So the first house, I would love to have that transit, but I will never experience that transit in my life. But risings will, and Aquarius risings are really going to rise in power in this next decade because of that Pluto in Aquarius transit. And again, this is where the power is. Pluto is wealth. People would bury themselves with their most prized possessions so that they can carry it into the river Styx and have it with them for eternity. So Hades also had mounds and mounds of gold with him. So your first house is a really noble act to have. We can see this with the Capricorn. Capricorns. They've been dealing with this. They know how to alchemize this, and they're learning how to do it one last time. Whereas you've had a little bit of a interaction with this a couple of times, and now it's time to really deconstruct the psyche and to make sure that those finished are finished. The bow is wrapped nicely, the ties are cut in an angular fashion, and you are not talking shit about people, and people are not talking badly about you, or that there is, again, some sort of disablement as in here as well. So you might find yourself being a little bit kind of bondage once more, because that's what Pluto does in the 12th house. And then finally, we have our Pisces. What a fitting card. So Neptune is doing its thing with you guys, obviously. Neptune is like that alien that abducts you, you know, and what the fuck was that? Like, did they just, you know, it's a very confusing card because you're just kind of like middle of the air. You're kind of like, you know, things when Sadie Sink was like just air, like hesitating. Basically what this is, it's like just here, just thoughts that I cannot deconstruct, but also thoughtless at the same time, mindful but mindless. There's lots of conundrums happening in the world of Pisces for the next couple of years. I mean, you have to be a Pisces, especially with Saturn over there being like, no, you have to make your dreams a reality. You have to make this a reality. And Pisces are like, how do I make my delusions a reality when they've always been a part of my fantasy? So there's lots of unrealistic standards being set for Pisces people, especially with like victimization, being responsible for things that you shouldn't be responsible for. So kind of like you to just be silent and to be still, again, to be static in the air. The world is such an interesting card to me because we have like these figures standing over here. We have strength, we have resilience, we have the human mind, which is about like philosophy and existentialism and absurdism. And then you have like honor and dignity with the hawk over here. So it's kind of like bag of goods. Like there can be bad stuff that happens, there can be good stuff that happens to you this week. It might feel like you're all over the place this week. The world, according to the Rider-Waite booklet, means assured success, route, voyage, emigration, flight, or change of place. So you might just be moving around, but also like, again, your own head about it. So yeah, I guess it isn't like static in place. It is about movement, especially with a new moon happening in your derivative 7th house. So there could be like a new look on relationships, especially because you're kind of an authority figure with Saturn transiting through your 1st house, or do any major natal placements. If you have a Pisces sun, Mercury, something like that, you're definitely given lots of responsibility for this next 2 years. And you might be like having to drive people, like literally, and you might not be used to driving, or like you might have to say something that you might not be used to saying, or putting someone in their place that you might not be used to doing. So that's an upward movement for Pisces, but it's felt by downward casting desires or downward casting agendas that you have to kind of feel so naked. So you should be like showing your body a little bit more this week, or that you might be a little bit kind of just like, you know, as Pisces has the sun has dignity with Venus, and Venus is at home. So there is this sort of love that Venus has for Pisces. So Venus, and also Venus, or Libra and Pisces have the same sort of goal when it comes to luxury. So there could be some sort of luxury being met during this time or something like that. But yeah, just like your kind of plans or changing your way of viewing relationships because of responsibility that you're given, and also the sort of impending doom that might be like employing on right now as well, especially with Neptune and Pisces kind of clear vision in certain ways. You're kind of in the dark. But yeah, it's like just a Pisces week for the Pisces. And then because Jupiter is finally like out of Mars is done fucking with Jupiter. So it's like the end in the class is finally graduated, and now Jupiter can finally teach and educate. So that's probably another reason why Mars, Jupiter individuals like Pisces and Sagittarius might be having like a bad week this week, because Mars is out of the picture. Again, Mars moves into Cancer this week, which is a big deal because Mars will be in Cancer from like December and April, and we're going to be getting Mars and Leo for a little bit, but it will mostly be retrograde in Cancer. And we're also going to be having a Venus retrograde in Aries, which is going to be square that. So there's lots of changes that are being introduced this week that are probably going to be permanent, especially within like your love life, your career life, or with your health and your vocation, things like that as well. So yeah, that is all that I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching me. Please subscribe, like, share. So follow me on all of the socials. Thank you so much. I love every single one of you.